Welcome to the NEPA Scene Podcast. We're coming to you live from Cole Creative in downtown Wilkes-Barre. I'm Rich Howells. I'm the founder and editor of NEPA Scene.
I'm Brittany Boot, and I'm the owner of Boot Photography Studio.
I'm John Popko. I work for Rock 107, Alt 92.1, and ESPN Radio. And I also am the Saturday night host of Alt Natives on Alt 92.1, where we play an hour of local music.
And tonight we're here with the Scranton Fringe Festival co-founder and managing director, Elizabeth Bohan, and Fringe organizers and participants, Simone, Daniel, and Laureen Handley.
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 Oh, Handley, I like it.
So she's drinking tonight.
So beer?
We're going to be talking about this 5-day festival. It's coming up September 27th through October 1st. The many diverse shows that are coming to 13 different venues in downtown Scranton. The Scranton Cultural Center preview party, the local theater scene, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which some of these people went to, and much more. So we want you to leave your comments and questions down underneath, and let us know what you think. Comment on anything that we're saying. Comment on the Fringe Festival, whatever you like. If you're participating in the Fringe Festival and you're watching, plug your show underneath, and we'll definitely talk about it later on in the show. Now, before we get to the interview, our sponsor, Beer Boys in Wilkes-Barre, gave us some beers to drink. Would you ladies like any libations?
I'm actually fine, thank you.
I'm
I
not better
appreciate
than it.
Okay.
I mean,
No pressure.
yes.
Now, they have 72 different beers on tap, including 24 from Pennsylvania breweries. Tonight we have one from a Pennsylvania brewery, Draai Laag Brewing in Pittsburgh. We're going to be trying, Oasis, Turbo Shandy, which is by Hoppin Frog Brewery, and R2 Koelschip by Draai Laag. So which one do you want to try first?
Well, I grabbed the Hoppin Frog Turbo Shandy.
Turbo
All right.
Shandy.
Nice. That was what I was hoping for.
Turbo
That's
Shandy.
Turbo Shandy.
Taking it up to turbo.
Yeah.
Now this is a European-style shandy with a refreshing combination of lemon and light malt flavors. So it should be interesting. It says it has a full-flavored approach.
Full flavored approach. That's good.
Yeah, as opposed to a half-flavored
Yeah.
approach.
Pass one down.
Definitely sick.
This is, yeah, we didn't expect.
Awesome,
to have
thank you.
Give her a little more than that, I think.
Well, yeah, you know.
Yeah,
We're from,
They can drink
they're from Scranton, okay?
I gotta make sure I have enough for everyone.
Yeah.
Gerard's thirsty. I'm thirsty.
We're
you know.
chugging.
I'm representing the children's.
Oh, right.
I don't usually drink beer, but I mean, I'm organizing 40 shows in 13 venues.
So it's
and
necessary.
I feel like
Yeah,
now's
you
the time
definitely
to
should.
do it.
But orange off the ball.
Smells like a shandy.
Tastes like a turbo.
Nice and light.
Tastes like a turbo.
Yeah, it's good.
Can I ask what's a shandy?
It's like a light lemony beer. That's what I.
Yeah, it's usually like a summery sort of beer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Take a step in.
Marino, man,
Yeah, I don't know what
that's
the
your name.
the definition of a shandy is.
If O'Hanley is your actual name.
Yes, it is. It's going to be my official name at some point,
O'Hanley.
but we won't go there. That's a story for another time.
Back to the roots.
After the second beer, we'll hear it.
That's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I'm not a beer
No,
drinker,
it's great,
but
right?
that's not
Shandies are
bad.
great.
Yeah, I'm not a beer drinker either, but it is good.
It is. It definitely has that full flavor that they were talking about.
I like
Yeah.
It's not a typical shandy.
It's a beer. It's good.
High praise.
That's-
Yeah,
yeah.
it's good. It's good beer.
Generous plug there. So we also want to give a shout out to one of our other sponsors, the Keys in downtown Scranton.
Yes, the key.
Now this Thursday is their weekly open mic, and next Thursday they'll be hosting an original music showcase for
During the Fringe. They're one of our venues, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be.
My
that'll
son
be
goes
pretty
there a
cool.
lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I secretly
You might know him.
It's a great event. I was just there the last couple of days for the Electric City Music Conference, where we actually came home with
We won these awards.
Town Music Awards.
And
We're very modest here on the show, as you
Yeah,
can
we
see.
just got to put them right out. front.
NBD.
But thank you for voting for us. That was all. Those were all voted online, so it's pretty cool that you guys came out for us. We really appreciate it.
So now we have
the support and
award-winning
everything.
listeners and viewers.
That's right.
I stole that from another podcast, but what the hell?
Yeah, why not?
We wouldn't have known.
Awards.
The I also want to quickly explain the I know some people were watching our live stream when we were at the Steamtown Music Awards. We were doing some interviews, and many people took us to task because the sound wasn't the best. So I tried to explain this to people, but I will now that we're kind of settled and done, and I'm not stressed anymore. That was like the worst day. Like anything that could go wrong did go wrong for me personally and for the equipment that we had. So I lugged my entire computer down, my very expensive camera and all this stuff, and set it all up, and then it started pouring rain. So obviously they were supposed to have tents for us. That didn't come through. So there was no tent to cover anything up. So I had to say, all right, either I risk this really expensive equipment or we just do it a different way. So I had to quickly pack everything up, basically used my phone and hooked the mic to that. The mic, for some reason, did not pick up the sound as well as I had hoped through my phone. Obviously, I had very little time to prepare. I literally did it, plugged it in, and we started. So if you couldn't hear us, I apologize. I apologize to the artists. We did the interviews for. If you turn up your volume, you could still hear it fine, but people just complain about anything.
Essentially, you can only kill it about 99.8%
Yeah.
of the time. You can't kill it all the time.
Especially like I know this show kind of gives the impression
You gotta turn it
that
down a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give some other people some room to kind of like
right.
kill it.
Yeah, you can't have like a kill at a Monopoly.
Yeah. You
Dirtbag.
can't monopolize the
Gotta
killing
screw up sometimes.
killing it scene.
Well, I think, and I'm flattered that people think of us as this big professional media organization or anything. I assure you, behind the scenes, it is not. Like most media organizations, I have worked for professional newspapers. It's chaos 24/7. Don't let them tell you otherwise. It's the same for an independent organization with next to zero budget at this point. We have some sponsors now, so we have a little bit of a budget, but not very much at all. This award for the podcast goes as much to Cole Creative as it does us, because we're using their facilities right now.
We
This
literally
isn't
could not do
ours.
this without Cole Creative.
Absolutely. So, big plug to them. Thank you to Gerard and Holly and everybody here who puts up with our shit, and this gentleman here who's holding the camera, our most captive audience the entire time, whether he
He's
wants
smiling.
to listen to our shit or not. So, we appreciate everybody behind the scenes who makes this stuff happen, because essentially it is mostly volunteer people who are working for nothing or working for very, very little. So it is what it is, essentially. So the fact that we were able to do as much as we have in 3 years, I think is cool. But the Kirby Center is also a sponsor on our site. They have Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute concert coming up on September 23rd. Stephen Stills and Judy Collins on September 27th. Matthew West on September 30th. And Fozzy with Chris Jericho on October 4th. And they just announced Evil Dead the Musical, which I'm personally very excited about, on October 30th.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of the movies, it's a musical adaptation that covers all three movies together, and there's a huge splash zone where you can get blood and guts thrown at you.
It's like a Cannibal Corpse show.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah. So the first couple of rows, if you're in there, you're going to get covered,
think
which
I'll pass
is
on
pretty
that one.
cool.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it goes.
We also want to give a shout out to Loyalty Barbershop and Shave Parlor, who just opened their Wilkes-Barre location down on South Main Street in the old Cafe Metro. So if you haven't been there yet, definitely stop by and support those guys. So let's get to the Fringe Festival. Liz, you're one of the co-founders, so we're going to start with you. What made you want to help found this festival?
Oh, that's a tough one. Connor talked me into it, is the short answer. The long answer is I feel like Scranton really needs this kind of thing, and I feel like we can support it.
Yeah.
I'm just like compiling a list of festivals that are happening in Scranton right now, and I think I realized just this week that Scranton is such a festival town. People will come out and they will support things, whether it's the Electric City Music Conference, whether it's, there's food festivals, the Festa Italiana, all different things. Even like the bonfire, which is just a one-day event, is such like a Scranton. Yeah, everybody simultaneously complains that there's nothing to do in Scranton, but then simultaneously comes out and supports the things that there are to do in Scranton. So I think that the Fringe is mostly based on performing arts, and we do have like visual arts. We have a team playwriting workshop, and we're trying to get all of the arts involved. But this is just one way to both support the artists and also support the audience and say, here's something to do. Come out, like enjoy it. And we're starting to get like a lot of touring acts as well, because we're not the only Fringe. We're one of over 200 Fringes, and so some artists they write a show and they tour it around the world, and they do over and over and over again the same show for different audiences, and it's like such a community. So I'm really happy that we're a part of that.
Now, what made you want to get involved with the festival? And you've been involved pretty much from the beginning, right?
Yeah,
It's the same thing Connor made her.
Connor made, no.
Can't say no to
That's
Connor.
that's
Very
everyone good at
persuasive.
things.
Yeah.
It's very persuasive.
And yet, where is he tonight? No, well, I'm in the New Vintage Ensemble, and our first year, we did a show there called Presenting the Spectrettes. That was a lot of fun, and I was just really excited to be part of that. And I did some stand-up comedy there, too. That was really fun, and it's just like, I need to be busy, or I'm just the most miserable, so, like, it's a really good way to, like, just completely, overfill my schedule for 2 months at the end of summer into fall, and I just absolutely love it. And it's because everything's so much fun. Like every project everybody's doing is so cool and so much fun, and like such a neat expression of themselves. So if someone's like, "Hey, do you want to be part of this?" and I'm like, "Are you serious? Of course I want to be part of this." Like, so it's just, yeah, it's just awesome.
I feel like Simone is minimizing her contribution to Fringe. She helmed Retrospective last year, which was a big hit, and this year she's going to host our preview party, which is next Wednesday from 6 to 9 at the Scranton Cultural Center.
Yay.
I want people to know.
Nice.
They'll know.
Well, and Connor got me hooked, and he came in all full, like, he's like a little kitten with all this nervous energy. He's got to get it out, and as the head of the Children's Library, I've been trying to have the children community be part of the bigger things of Scranton. And I've been there 12 years now, and we've hosted First Fridays. We've been on the Art Walk venue because we've had art classes for the kids, and then we even had a children's library chorus at one point. So we culminated that in an art music festival. And we haven't done that in a while, so when Connor came along and presented this idea, first I had to understand really what fringe meant, and I'm very literal, so I'm thinking fringe. And so,
Oh my god, I love fringes.
well, the first year I decorated the front door and the fence with fringe so that people would, yeah,
That's so cool.
So I decorated with fringe to get the concept across, but the more he spoke about it and bringing new things in and new acts and new people, I always want the Children's Library to be part of all of that, because if libraries don't change with the times, and if they don't, like, I could keep giving you the same book year after year, but if it's not what you want, you're not going to come anymore. So we have to know what the current population wants and needs from us as a library. And I think we're very good at providing things for schools and the story times and things, but I wanted people to think of us outside that story time box and think of us as a place, a destination place, a cultural place, a place where families could go for the arts and for the culture. So for the first year, I mean, it was a little slow with the programs, but, we had families coming in with little kids. And what I really appreciate is, because of the Lackawanna Arts,
Lackawanna Arts and Culture Grant.
I could never get that right.
It is a mouthful.
Yeah, with that wonderful grant from the county, the Fringe is able to do the programming in the Children's Library free of charge, because that was one of the stipulations I said to Connor. I said, we're a nonprofit, a not-for-profit, and we can't charge. And so I was afraid then we would be kicked out of Fringe, but he was really good, and the Fringe committee was very good about finding groups and finding alternative funding for them. So all the other venues you need the button to get into, but with the Children's Library, you don't need to do that. So as I said, the odder it is, the more bizarre it is, that's what I want for the children's library. Because you never know what's going to pique the interest of a child or a family. And say, gee, I never thought I could do that, and now here I can do it. And introducing things, tell me if I'm talking too much, okay?
You're doing
Okay.
great.
Because I said to Elizabeth before we started, when I get passionate and excited about something, I said, then the New Yorker's gonna come out anyway.
I'm so happy you're passionate about
I
Scranton
am.
Fringe. That's the important part to me.
It is, and I just feel, I love being included in things, and again, you know, I'm reaching a certain age with the gray hair and everything, and I don't want people to think of libraries as, you know, the gray-haired lady saying shush all the time. No, we're a vibrant, active community place, and if it weren't for Lackawanna County grants and the good coordination and what's the other word, collaboration with these other groups, and then Mandy's group has been rehearsing at the library, and, you know, I said, I don't know what they're doing, but look at their rehearsal schedule. You know, and then her group, and then there are other people who have volunteered to do things at the library, so they can be sure that I'm gonna, you know, take advantage of them that way.
It's funny, like, I'm just realizing it, and, like, not that the adult library isn't great, because it is great. I go
It
there
is.
and I need to print something, or, like, read a book, or, like, just go need some silence. It's great, but then I'm thinking to myself, I'm almost 30 years old, and I spend more time at the children's library than I do at the adult library. Like, I grew up there with it all the time, but now as an adult, I keep finding reasons to spend all this time there, and, like, it's kind of amazing. And I'm
It's-
so excited every time I walk in.
Well, we get, you know, I'm digressing a little, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
pull me back if
Sorry.
but we have university students who will come in and just sit there, and because it is a children's library, you know, we make sure that the adults who come in are there with a reason, and we'll have tables, and I say, oh, can I help you? Oh, we're just, you know, students at the university. Well, can I help you find something? No, and then I look at the books, and they're looking at Curious George and Ferdinand the Bull, and the books that they read as kids, and they're just reliving their childhood. And it's a safe, comfortable place to come to. So I think if we can be a venue, and people know us, they know us from doing our programming and being in the community, so then if we're offering programs through the Fringe, I think they're more likely to come because they know us. We've got face recognition already, and they know we're not gonna lead them into anything dangerous.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that totally works both ways, that
Yeah.
people come to the children's library. There are people that are full-grown adults looking for free programming, go to the children's library, and then they get hooked into Fringe in the opposite direction.
Yes.
Because they get the Fringe guide, which is available at all of our 18 button partners downtown.
You're literally the best at like just
Talking
getting those
point
like
number one
very
is a lot.
important
Yes.
points like in.
We have a lot of these out there, and if you don't have one already, come to our free preview party on Wednesday, 6 to 9 at the Cultural Center. No, but yeah, I love the community and the focusing and the cross-hatching, and that grant that you're talking about, the Lackawanna County Arts and Culture, and we also this year have a Pennsylvania Arts Council grant too, and that money funds this because we believe in paying our artists. So most of the money this year from the ticket prices goes directly to the artists, and we take a percent that helps pay for the venue and the ads and everything that we need to do to put the whole festival on. But we loved meeting with Laureen because we said it is important to us that the artists get paid. Like, we don't need to make a profit from this if we don't have to pay you as a venue, but so we went after that grant. And then that grant money both supports all the free programming at the Children's Library, and it also supports a program that we do with the Everhart Museum. We have, I was just there today talking to the teenagers who are doing playwriting with the Everhart Museum, and they went to the Everhart, looked around at the different art hang on the walls, and it's like a feedback loop of like, they're talking about their inspirations from the artwork and what the pictures make them feel, and then they write about it, and then sometimes it ends up having nothing to do with the original inspiration, sometimes it has everything to do with it. And this year we're actually offering a new teen play, it's teen visual, where artists they went through our guide, and they looked through the different like brief descriptions of shows, and most of them picked White Rabbit, Red Rabbit, which is a great show, and they looked at the description of it, and that show is really about like not knowing and censorship, because the whole conceit of that show is that the people who perform it can never have seen it before. They only get the script right when they start performing it, and then they have to do whatever the script says.
Oh, boy.
Somebody's
You're
in
in
it.
that, right?
Yeah,
Simone?
yeah. So
We're
it's
doing
going
one
to
of
be Connor O'Brien, Simone Daniel, and Michael Burgos that's previously come from the Eulogy. So those three people, they just decided to take a leap with me. I was like, I think we should do this play called White Rabbit, Red Rabbit. And then it actually turned out that was what most of the artists for the teen visual focus on. and they're reinterpreting just from like one paragraph. Like, what do we think this means? What is this like secret play about? And turning that into paintings and photographs, and I think that's so cool.
Totally cool.
Yeah.
And it sounds really fun.
I mean, I hope so. I hope
Yeah,
it's fun
me
for
too.
them.
Yeah.
You brought this up, and I think it applies to the festival as well. How do you choose programming that you think is going to be a hit, or that is going to connect with people and stuff like that?
We don't. That in particular, White Rabbit, Red Rabbit, I'm producing it, and I just decided that this is something that I thought would be good for the festival to have. And we do produce other programming through the Fringe. We're doing a comedy showcase this year, which we've never done before. We have our big gay story slam, a music night at the Keys that we already mentioned. But we have an open application process that's in the end of February, the beginning of March, and anybody can apply. And we don't curate for content. We say that we jury for time and space. That's simply because if we know, this year we have 13 venues, we're trying to get a little bit smaller, and we actually went up one venue from our past year. So I was like, wait a minute, this is not making sense. So if we know we're gonna have X amount of venues, and there's X amount of like slots for this festival, then we can only fit that many shows in. So it's not, I don't care what your show is about, and if I think it's going to be a hit or not, that's really not my business. I think it's important to empower the audience to make those choices, because Fringe festivals are supposed to be a little weird and a little unusual, and sometimes the art is really polished and they've done it 1,000 times before, and they've toured with a piece. Or sometimes this is the first time that a show's ever been produced, and there might be some bumps, and it might be rough and need to be reworked, and that's okay, because we try to keep the ticket prices really low and let the audience know, we don't believe in censorship, we don't believe in restricting anything, so go through the guide and go on our website and pick like what looks interesting to you.
Well, last year we had a little problem with one of the ones at the Children's Library, the Italian stories.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be one way, but due to illness and things, one person didn't show up. So here I was, the token Irish and American, trying to read the stories from this one town in Italy that Stephanie Longo had written. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I got to practice this word before I do it. So I felt very good. So, those were some of the bumps.
Yeah.
But you know what? It worked fine, because I think, too, that shows the audience that we can handle it, and that if something happens, and then I felt a responsibility being the venue director, so to speak, and also I wanted to make it as good as I could, and I figured, all right, if I can do this in front of 130 children, I can certainly do this in a group of 25 adults. So, but yeah, I think it's very interesting that there is such a variety of shows and performances, that there's something for everyone. And now we have the children, and I feel proud that we've been the Children's Library has been part of it since the first one, and it gets more and more, so.
Now, this is the third annual festival, so how do you feel that it's developed from the first time that you guys did it?
I feel like it's really important to us to get the word out to the audience. What is a fringe? No one's ever going to stop asking me what is a fringe, and that's okay.
Sure.
The people who do fringes, they know what that means, what that word means. There's a connotation if you do fringes, and you'll understand that it's a community, and a ton of people come together to put a ton of effort into. Ours is going to be 5 days this year. The Edinburgh Fringe goes for the whole month of August. So it depends on the festival, but it's always the idea that like everybody's coming to it with the best intentions, and they're all coming to it like to be a community. So I want everyone to know what a fringe means. That means that these shows are going to be, they're going to be like light on tech, light on displays. It might be just like one little piece of set behind them, but that doesn't mean that it takes away from the impact of the show. And it also means that it's both people from our local community, and it's also there's some people this year that are coming from LA. In the past, we've had people come from Texas, from New Orleans. It's a big community. So I feel like knowing what a fringe is what I want people to.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have people, I think everyone knows what an open mic is, and you still have people who are like, why aren't these guys professionals? How come they're not as good as the guys on TV? It's like, it's an open mic.
Go ahead. You go ahead, you get up there.
That's always my response. We always get, I'll sometimes live stream it, like we did this first week. Our open mic just returned to the V Spot on Tuesday nights. and we live streamed it, and inevitably there was somebody in there who was like, "Oh, that guy's no good. Get the gong out," like that
Oh,
kind of
come
thing.
on.
And it's like,
Oh, man.
come on, man, like
Yeah.
that.
It's a supportive environment. It's
Right.
Exactly,
supposed to
and
be supportive.
that's what we always try and encourage with the site as well, because I think most media is looking for that clickbait headline of attacking somebody or making them look bad or whatever, so everybody can dogpile.
Yep.
And you see that in local media as well as national media, and we try to do the opposite and
Yeah.
kind of foster people, make them feel good and stuff like that. And I was just talking to Vinny, the owner, today about he said, "How do you think it went?" And I said, "Good, because it encourages people who have maybe never done this before or haven't done it in a long time to come out and give it a try." And we saw a friendship develop right in the first one. Two guys who live hours apart, who never met each other before, had never been to any of our events before, came and they ended up doing a couple songs together. So
That's awesome.
it's like
cool.
that's the kind of stuff that you want to foster and you want to continue. And I see that very much happening at the Fringe all the time. It seems like a lot of friendships and things are made, and more opportunities are opened up because of the Fringe.
I hope so. I mean, we really want to foster this community, and we want people to connect with each other. And the fact that this is our third year, and we have some of the same touring artists come back and say that they love Scranton, and we have the same venues, and sometimes we move around. This year, we didn't use a few venues just because they weren't handicap accessible. We're trying our mission statement to make the performing arts accessible to audience and artists alike. That also encompasses, being able to get into an elevator if you have to, and that kind of thing, and handicap
Sure.
accessible. And so, yeah, I really think that I hugely promote that. And we have events for the artists to come and meet each other, and a secret group where people can chat and be like, "I put my posters up here. Do you think this is a good idea?" and that kind of thing.
And it was cool when we were in Edinburgh. We would go see a lot of shows and meet with other artists and stuff. And Scranton Fringe already had this really cool reputation with a lot of them.
Yes.
We kept meeting. There's this one dude, he would always live stream and he'd see somebody and he'd go, "Scranton Fringe!" and he would always shout us out or call somebody
two
over
different
and
days, me and her are walking
yeah, we
down
walked
different
past.
streets.
He's like, "Scranton Fringe!" We're like,
It's
"Hey!"
one spits that you,
Um,
oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, but it was cool because, and then we would be talking to people at a show, and Liz would be like, "Oh, I'm from Scranton Fringe. You should think about coming." And go, "Oh yeah, I heard that's a really good Fringe. People have been talking. It's cool. It's definitely a community, and there's a few regulars who come in every year. Unfortunately, no Molly balloons this year.
Damn it, don't
I
tell
know,
them.
what's with
Look,
her?
I'm real upset. She's in
I
Europe
wanted
or
a ball
something.
gown.
She's terrible. I love her so much.
She still loves
But-
and supports us, but
She
when
does.
she gets
She'll
a
be here
paying
soon.
job in Europe, we can't really
Yeah, sorry, jerk.
compete.
But yeah, it's cool.
But we
We've
love you.
built a little
Yeah.
community. Yeah, I like it.
Well,
Like
We'll
a
have to tag her in
Fringe
this
team.
video. Molly Baloo!
Yeah.
So where's one of the closest areas that have a Fringe festival?
Well,
You guys
I
kind of,
just went to Rochester, which is going on right now.
That looked insane.
It was phenomenal. They have a spectacle every year. So their spectacle was these giant, they don't want to call them balloons, the people who do it. They're French, they're balloons. But they call them inflatables, and they have these huge, Macy's
It
Parade
sounds so
Day
much classier.
size, and they're, running around in this
Inflatables.
enormous empty lot and, unfolding the balloons to turn them into different shapes. And I took a ton of pictures. I'll show them to you. But theirs is right now, and I just went up for, an overnight to pick up some tech from the director, Shayla Batchelder, who is the Fringe doctor. She's the director of the Pittsburgh Fringe, and so she's lending us some stuff to help us out with different venues. And I went there for the night, and then after us, I think the next one is Baltimore Fringe, is the beginning of November, and they're great too. They're moving to a new arts district. So, and Philly Fringe also, for a while they didn't call themselves a Fringe. So I don't know, now they're starting to call themselves a Fringe again. So I don't
Catching
know.
on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know what the situation was there. If
Yeah,
they
the
called them
program,
the
Philly.
Fringe Arts
Yeah.
or something, yeah.
Hello.
Is that like a branded name, a trademark name?
Not in America.
Oh.
In Canada, the Canadian Association of Fringe Festivals has trademarked the term Fringe. So if you
Okay.
want to be a part of a Fringe in Canada, you have to go through this association. But the United States Association of Fringe Festivals is kind of more mellow and it's just start
Whatever.
one and join us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering
Which is
about
weird because usually the U.S. is pretty
Yeah.
nasty about copyrights
Mhm.
and all that good stuff. going after people. The pierogi festival being a local
Oh, God, yeah.
example of
What?
that.
What happened?
There was like a big skit with a pierogi festival.
There's a pierogi festival in, where is it?
Totally off topic.
Yeah.
No,
Edwards
this is so important.
All
I
things-
want to
no,
hear
the-
about
the
the
other
But
one.
inherited.
Oh yeah, I don't
All
know.
things
About
new.
that.
Yeah, there's one who's
Was it-
hundreds of miles away from here, and I think it's in like Ohio.
It wasn't the
or something like
Kibasi
that.
festival though.
No,
It was
it was
pierogi.
a pierogi festival, and they were they.
God forbid there's more than
there-
one.
Yeah,
there's
no, there's
an Edwardsville pierogi festival, and they said you have to change your name.
Oh,
That
wow.
we own the rights to the words pierogi festival.
No.
Who has? I want to know.
Pierogi
I want to know
festival.
who has that much time on their hands that organizes the pierogi festival.
Right.
That's gonna
Yeah.
call somebody and literally
Nick
threaten
Googling
them.
it, like, I need a cut.
Like, I need to find out where other pierogi festivals are because.
I'm pretty sure they didn't change the name of their minor league team to be the Pierogies for a game a couple years back. Those awesome pierogi hats that they made. And
And I don't think they also.
it was
I don't
the
think
best.
they really know who they're dealing with.
Yeah, oh,
Also, on
dear.
the other hand.
That's
just
Bless them.
Yeah,
Do it.
awesome.
Do it. Come for us.
Native did that like NEPA challenge a few years ago, and that was I made that pierogi. Like I crocheted it because I was like, this is a Scranton thing. So
I remember
they
that.
can't take that away from us.
Seriously.
I was at a wedding over the weekend, and it was a chaplain actually. He never had Holishki, never heard of it, never knew anything about it, didn't know it was a thing.
What a sad
Well,
life.
at the Wyoming County Fair 2 weeks ago, that was one of my lunches. Halushki and pierogi from Nativity
I'm hungry.
up in
Me too.
Tunkhannock.
Man, stop talking about pierogies, guys.
Oh,
Best
God.
Halushki ever.
Yeah, just, nothing. Never heard of it.
So weird. When I was in New York, a lot of people didn't know about like pierogies and stuff. They're like potato raviolis. I'm like, yeah, pierogies. They're like, I've never had that before. I'm
Well,
like,
especially on Long Island, you know.
Long Island.
yeah, you don't do that on Long Island?
No,
Long Island?
not Long Island.
No. Poor things. I always knew that place was a dump. Just kidding.
Hey, we've got the bagels.
Totally kidding.
We've got the
I'm
bagels
kidding.
and pizza. Old Forge has nothing on our
I-
pizza. Excuse me.
Oh.
Sorry.
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 Hold on.
Okay, that's gonna blow up now.
Right?
Let's turn off these cameras. This sounds
We can
like
say
a
anything.
conversation.
It goes like shh. You
yeah.
see a hand coming out
Yeah.
the camera.
Well,
Turn it up,
okay,
turn it up.
just to, on our,
Stand by.
on the ceiling in the children's library are the names of all the local towns. And right there is Old Forge, and Liz Klusner, who worked at the library as an artist, she put an Old Forge pizza on the floor underneath,
Nice.
because she asked the kids, she goes, what else do you think we need in here? And one of the kids said pizza, so if you look up at Old Forge on the ceiling, and then you look down, she did an Old Forge pizza.
That's
And
awesome.
so
That's
we,
awesome.
we're always thinking it's a book that fell off the shelf. But,
Yeah.
no, there's an Old Forge pizza on the floor,
Well,
so.
good. I hope you
So-
bend down and pick up that book
Every
every
day,
day.
every
I hope
day.
it hurts. Talk about our pizza.
Well, see, okay, so are we good now? Are we
We're
good?
good.
Okay. Okay, shoot.
It's great. It's such a forgiving culture.
Yeah, we're really soft here. Soft people. Loving people.
I mean, we could get a beer sponsor. I don't think we can get a church to sponsor us just to get free pierogies. I don't think.
I think we
anyway.
could.
I mean, maybe
I
a
think you
very
can try.
open-minded church.
Can't we just get an old lady?
Yeah.
The pierogi
okay.
lady.
Yeah.
Any old lady
What
sponsors?
if we had just like a
wanna come on?
little like
Sponsor-
section over here with like a lady that we
Sponsor-
kind of
yeah,
cut
she-
to
yes.
and ask her for any of her advice or guidance?
Oh, and
she's
here's
just
our
making-
NEPA
just making
pierogi lady.
pierogi.
Pierogi,
It's
yeah.
a pierogi lady.
And then cut, it's like a
Everyone
little
else
cutout
has
with
like a
it.
sidekick on
Yeah,
their
well, like,
show.
an
That's true.
accordion
Grandma.
and
We can get like a
folk
hot
music
dog
and stuff.
guy.
Yeah, I'm not coming
sometimes.
back until you get the pierogi. Peace, guys.
Are you might be
great.
one of our. Is she the only one that we've had twice?
So far.
Yeah.
It's my third time, yeah.
You're doubling
well,
up.
second, third.
And we can
Yeah.
harass them when they do a bad batch.
Yes.
It sticks.
That sounds mean.
Beat them. I don't care.
An old lady?
Why does a pierogi lady have to be old?
I was gonna
shit.
say that too.
Because they
Why
make
does
the
the
best ones.
pierogi lady have to
Are
be a
all
lady?
ladies old?
They're the
Yeah.
most experienced.
I am delicate and have good
Right?
manners. I'm a lady. Call me old. All right.
No, but it could be a pierogi man.
You know what?
Yeah, it could be a
the
pierogi
same
gentleman.
thing. Here's what happens.
Uh-oh,
we
here
get a
we go.
pierogi man, and then all the females freak out and say,
You're
"Well,
right.
why is it a man?
Who's taking away the pierogies from
Why
us?
is it a man?
Yeah.
Why can't be a
I
pierogi
had-
lady?"
So
Okay, pierogi person.
I worked in the
Why can't
church.
you-
There you go.
A
The
pierogi
church bazaar
person.
this past summer.
There it is.
It was my first time working a bazaar since I was a little kid, and I was the piggy lady.
Ah,
So I can
nice.
relate to this
Okay.
whole scenario.
Yeah.
Sounds insulting.
I was the piggy lady.
How'd you feel about
No,
that?
I know what you mean.
Being
I was a little
addressed as
overwhelmed
such.
at first.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on, and the pierogies ladies, they're like the cream of the crop. Like, because it's just, that's really complicated, and it's like with or without onions, doing sauerkraut, potato, cheese, they have a lot going on, and I'm next to them, and I just have piggies to, like, dish out, you know?
Yeah.
And I walk in there, it's like my boyfriend's family, and, like, they just have it down to a science, you know? Like, they're just boom, 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 and I'm just like, no idea what I'm doing, just dishing out piggies, and everyone's like, come on, lady, like, yelling at me. I'm like, I'm just trying to do my job. People were yelling from outside. It was crazy. And so I have a lot of respect for pierogi ladies, piggy ladies,
Food people. in
potato
general.
pancake ladies.
Oh man, people get serious.
You know how hot
about
it is in
potato
there?
pancakes.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you one day you'll be like the piggy duchess.
The piggy touches
Or
of
like-
NEPA.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Wow, I don't know what that means, but I have to become it.
Yes.
It's my goal now to be the piggy duchess of NEPA.
So what beer is that?
Yeah, what do we got?
This is
honey.
from.
You
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Rich,
Am I?
tell a lady what she's having.
This is from Une
Did you pour me
Année,
too?
Do you want to taste
which
it?
is
Is that the new
No,
one?
That's the
yeah,
which is
Oh, this
French.
is
This
the
rich?
These are yours, yeah.
And this is
Although
me.
it is brewed in Chicago, but they have a French
Ooh.
name, and they do Belgian and French styles. This is a sour beer.
It is a sour
Yes,
beer.
I just discovered that.
Yes, and it is a 5.5%,
Whoa.
so kind of in the middle.
I don't
That
do the
is
sour.
sour.
Oh. Funny story. I'm allergic to beer. More beer.
So
Is there a
anyway,
paramedic on site?
We've got 45 minutes. Let's wrap this up.
this definitely has that fermented taste
Yeah.
to it.
The
It's
sour
very
beer,
tart.
I never got into the sour.
You have to be to be honest. You have to be an absolute fan of sour beers to
Yeah.
like this one. If
I'm
you're
not a big fan of sour
So
beers.
is anyone?
But
yeah.
Beer Boy
I
says
actually
Yeah,
like them.
big
so-
fan.
Do you,
Fans
do
of
you
them?
like them?
It's okay, but like I said, I am allergic, so I should probably stop drinking them. I was not kidding. I'm gonna puff up a little bit, but
Oh.
that's fine.
We support making good decisions on the fringe.
Yeah. Well, you don't get to be piggy duchess by just letting life pass you by, my friend.
That's true. You gotta grab the beer.
but if you're not a sour beer fan, Beer Boys does have 72 beers on tap.
Yes,
That was smooth.
You are a marketing genius over there.
he is.
Did I mention
tried.
how low budget we are? Please don't sue us.
No, you're cool. That's cool. I knew I was when I started drinking the beer 2 beers ago.
That's not how
It's
it works,
like you're
though.
amazing
Yeah.
because you just did it to be polite.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I got something out of it.
You heard
I got a
that,
nice
lawyers
buzz
we
on.
don't have.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
It's
They don't
okay,
have any
we're all in
lawyers.
the same boat. Yeah. It's strange because people really think that Fringe is fancy.
That's another thing too. I'd imagine that again behind the scenes, because this is such a large festival, people probably have assumptions like, oh, there's all this money and huge sponsors and everything behind it, and there are sponsors, of course, but they probably think that it's a lot of people are getting all this money and stuff like that. And it's mostly volunteer, really.
Yeah, that is not the case. Connor and I are the staff positions, if you can call it that, and what that really means is that we talk about Fringe every single day. Every day of the year, every day. This year, I was just telling Laureen, we redid our website this year, so on Christmas Day, we were like messaging back and forth, like, oh, this is totally wrong, and we need to fix this, and we need, it's not just a one weekend event of Fringe, we do year-round event, we have, like, partnerships and things, and yeah, it's we need volunteers, we need sponsorship, we need everything, because I feel like the community loves to participate in the Fringe, but they think that we're a part of a corporation. Somebody asked me actually if we're a franchise, if like of the main Fringe, and we have like all this franchise money backing us. No, we don't. We're always looking for support, and to get involved in the community. We love all the people. They do their own show, and that's fantastic, and we love the people that do their own show, but we need volunteers, to work the box office. And
Do you still need volunteers, Liz?
yes,
Okay.
yes, it's next
So I
week.
have a
We
volunteer
have,
for the pierogi lady position.
Do you? It is actually really fun volunteering.
Yeah, and volunteers get passes
Yeah.
to see free
So
shows,
that's nice.
and then there's like artist and volunteer events that are not for the public, and we try, like I said before, we really try to foster the community. Yeah, and I think it's funny that people think we're a franchise. Yeah, it's one of our sponsors that we love and always want to support us, but they said this year, oh, we try to support smaller events that need us, and I was just like, I'm glad you think we're doing so well. I'm glad you think that we're expanding into we have a great team, but it is small, and so yeah, we always welcome everyone join us on the Fringe.
I was a volunteer for the first Fringe.
Well, what
Do
you
you
doing
know that?
next week? No, I didn't know that, but I'm very happy to hear it. What are you doing
Quiet
next
the
week?
whole podcast.
No.
Did you know?
What did you do? Where did you work?
Kelly
What
came
show
to
did you
school.
work?
I didn't work a show.
What'd you do?
I think my team helped create the logos and stuff for the
Oh, that's where. Okay, that's funny.
we thank you.
I remember. Was it Ashley?
Ashley. Yes.
I do know Ashley then, so yes, I do know what you're talking about. In the back of my head, I was like, what is it?
Guess I'm gonna get demoted.
I remember my first
Promoted.
beer.
It's funny because Ashley created for our first year there was a chicken egg with human arms and a crown on it and human legs. And so then the second year we had Sam Nardelli from Shantytown Design, and we said, here's what we had last year, like if you want to build on this or change it or whatever. And she took the chicken, and so this is our third incarnation of the chicken, which was, it started out being an egg with a crown on it, and then last year we just had his head with a crown on it. His name is King Raymond, and he is the official Fringe mascot. We also have
He looks like he's in
super
charge
awesome
of-
bear that's named after a special friend of ours who might be doing a dance right now.
Me. It's me. It's named after me.
This is Lady Josette,
my
one of
middle
our
name.
other
That's a cool middle name.
bears.
Thanks.
Yeah.
She's a cute bear, isn't she?
Yeah,
She's
I
cute.
can see the resemblance.
I was driving and I
Ugly.
made them.
Yeah. Yeah. She was like, it doesn't have a name yet. We were like, no. She's like, name it after me. So we did.
Thanks, guys.
There might be a bear head in my car right now.
There may be.
Can we talk about our middle names?
Yeah, what's your middle name?
Fortuna.
Fortuna.
Stop it.
I
You
swear.
have the coolest name
That
ever.
is pretty cool.
Brittany
I was gonna
Fortuna
make you guys
Boo.
guess, but
We would not have
Never.
ever guessed.
Never.
what's
Oh
yours?
my god.
William. Yeah, that's boring.
That's alright.
Johnny?
It's a strong name.
Christopher.
I was gonna guess.
Also
Oh.
a strong name.
All right,
Fortuna's
Irish,
way
what do you
cooler.
think?
Hey, Aaron?
Kelly? Aaron.
Colleen. Mommy,
Mary.
Sheila.
Mary.
I named all my aunts.
One of those five. Yeah.
We all sound like nuns in my family.
Yeah.
Josette. I love that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Josie.
I'm not Josie Grossi
I'm
anymore.
not Josie Cressy anymore. I love that movie.
Me too. It's my favorite. She's from Scranton. In her
I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
the Keystone State. Never been
Yeah,
kissed.
not our accent.
Oh,
Though,
well,
yeah.
she tried. Yeah, Drew Barrymore's not great with
My
accents.
name is Josie Geller.
She's American Trailer.
Is it Josie Geller?
Yeah, Josie
Oh
Geller.
my god, I'm so good at this.
Yeah, you are. You're great at this.
Okay.
Anne is my mother's
Anne.
name,
Anne.
so
I
that's
can
my
see
middle
that.
name. Yeah,
Great name.
Elizabeth Ann. That's
Fortuna.
Literary
Fortuna.
hero.
Fortuna. That's
Where does that
cool.
come from?
It's Italian. My grandmother's name, who I never had the privilege of meeting, was named Fortuna Isolina Iamaroni. She was
Whoa.
right from Italy.
That's
But I'm Irish also. It's my Irish Italian.
I'm
Fortuna's
Irish
like
Italian
a-
too.
Yeah,
And
it's
all the
potatoes
Native
and
Americans
pasta.
sneak in
Yeah.
there, yeah.
I literally live off
together.
both of those
Yeah.
all day.
Always.
I'm Lebanese, but I'll eat both those things too.
Yeah.
Great.
Food is
All I
great.
eat is pasta, potatoes, bread, and cheese.
I love your life.
Yeah, I can't help it. And vodka sometimes. With club soda, because I don't,
Just vodka. The bottom.
Shot.
Yeah, there you go.
Bring a
Potato
bottle.
vodka.
She'll be the. I'm the pierogi lady now. Okay.
Richard William, Dick Bill.
Yep.
Dick Bill.
Thank you for bringing up my childhood and getting bullied every single day. I appreciate it.
Is that what it's
I
called?
really want to relive that.
That's a cool
No, it's
name.
mo-
That's
mostly
a
the
real
di-
cool name.
mostly the
Dickie
di-
Bill.
Yeah,
the dick
Dickie
thing.
Bill.
Dickie Bill from the north side.
As soon as the kids figure out that
Which
you
side
can
is Scranton?
substitute Richard for Dick.
Which
know, it's
which
the
side
end
of
that.
Scranton are you from?
West side.
West
Ooh,
side.
Dickie Bill from the
You're a
west
West
side.
Sider?
I am. a
Me
West Sider.
too. Nice.
West
Best side. Bleed blue. Although I went to Scranton, so I'm kind of full of shit. but
Jonathan.
bleed blue.
Jonathan Christopher. Is it Jonathan?
It's not Jonathan.
It's not Jonathan.
Do not do that to
Do
me.
not. Don't. Mm-mm. Sorry.
He's serious.
Don't do that to me.
John.
So what is the third
Chris.
brew? Says the non-beer drinker.
Yeah, can we get out
Really?
that out?
Bring it back
'Cause
to the important stuff.
I'm gonna take a break from this.
Yeah, I like how he just goes over. He's like, I'm gonna give this to Gerard. Screw
Off
this.
camera.
You
What's
like
your middle
sour,
name?
right?
Adam,
What's your first name?
Jake,
Jake Adam.
Jake Adam.
What's your last name?
Oh, it sounds like
Sound
a
like a
Jake,
Disney star.
Jake
What's your social
Adam
security
action
number?
figure.
Yeah.
Where
Hi,
did you
this
see
is
your
Jake
car?
Adams.
Yeah, this is a strong name. All three of you guys.
Am I the only one who likes it?
Gerard, what's your middle name? Gerard Joseph.
Beer Boys has 72 beers on tap.
Thank
Where's Beer Boys located?
North Washington Street. So like a block away from here.
you. Yeah, it's very close. It's right down the road.
Yeah.
Well, I found Wilkes-Barre and Scranton both have the same street names, and not being from around here, I'm very confused. So when you say
Right.
North Washington, I don't think.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
Ave,
you're
he said
thinking-
street. My
Yeah.
head, the way I like describe
North Washington runs this way here.
Wilkes-Barre?
And it runs that way.
is like, you know when you have a dream about your house,
Mhm.
but like you know it's your house, but it's not your house?
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I come to Wilkes-Barre. Like
Oh,
I
it's
feel
like
like I'm having a
Scranton,
dream
but
about my
yeah.
house, but it's like
It's like
a
everything's
Victorian.
kind of
My
in the
house isn't a
same
Victorian.
place, but it's
Yeah,
not.
it's
and you
the
know
same, but it's different.
Yeah,
It's the same.
like something's off.
Yeah.
I'll have to
totally
tell
get
my
that.
son about your place, because he, like, my son travels in the same, it sounds weird, but like your age demographic.
Yeah.
And so it's weird, he goes, oh, I saw so-and-so. I said, yeah, well, I know them too.
What's your son's middle
What,
name?
21-year-olds?
Brennan?
Brendan, that's a good
Is he
one.
available to volunteer for the Fringe?
He works late.
You're killing
But
it.
he goes to
I'm
the
just like
keys
being
all
very
the time.
efficient.
She's so good, isn't she? She's
I'm just
so
on
hardcore.
point
She
with what,
gets
like, I
around.
have a list
She's
of
like, this is
things
what I
that
need.
know
This is what I need to get across.
I'm gonna bring these things up over and over again until everyone is sick of
She
them.
was trying to
Speaking
recruit
of
my
pierogies,
16-year-old daughter.
Scranton Fringe Festival.
Beer Boys, the brand new,
Yeah, and
brand new
it's like you
sponsor
two
of
like both have
Scranton
your
Festival.
objectives for like the entire conversation.
Oh my gosh, if I don't talk
But
about
we
the
have
show,
to
they're
keep
gonna kill me.
bringing
No,
it
no,
up.
no, we
Right.
have to talk
Yes,
about the
talk about-
children's
All right,
programming.
go ahead. You
Oh,
go ahead.
okay.
There's a
Take it
poster
off.
over there that I brought under the
Children's
the thing
programming,
for
you
new
made
vintage.
this wonderful
That one,
flyer.
yeah.
So the first thing we're going to have is a read-aloud theater called The Giggler Treatment, and that's based on a book
Pretend like you brought that.
by
Like
Roddy
already.
Dowell. So it's going to be, they're calling it a read-aloud theater, so it's going to be a read-aloud, and there are going to be different characters. And actually, Jake, who, not from State Farm, but Jake from the Children's Library, he's maintenance and security there, he's going to be reading one of the parts. And then Danielle Joyce and her two daughters are going to be there and doing some of the parts. And Danielle does face painting, so she volunteered to do face painting before the show.
We're
so-
adding new programming in left and right.
Yes, I know, this was the last
You
minute
guys must be
entry.
sponsored by some major corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have heard of a
Any
franchise.
sponsors
And
that
then
want to
we
get in on
have-
this?
Yeah.
Simone's group,
You're
you're
invited.
invited, and.
Produced by the New Vintage Ensemble, and I'm missing rehearsal to be here tonight. And they said if I miss rehearsal and don't talk about it, then I'm in big trouble.
And you never work in this town again.
You'll never work in this town. Okay. Yeah, you're invited. It's a really cool interactive show. It's a big party, and it takes place in the land of Once Upon a Town, and it's about a wizard named Winnie arriving in town to help solve the problems of some famous storybook characters. And the cool thing is, it's written based on interviews done by children, done with children. They didn't conduct the interviews; they were interviewed. And they were asked, like, what's wrong with everything and how do we fix it? And they came up with these like really like insightful like 21st century like issues about like people being too into technology and like just their solutions were really cool and interesting, and so it's fun. It's like goofy and colorful and loud, and there's like it's like a Shrek thing where like there's jokes for the parents and jokes for the kids.
Yeah.
Bring the whole family. Yeah, we won't bore the parents. We're not monsters. So we'll act silly for the kids.
And the
we'll be
library has
clever
great
for the
acoustics. and
great acoustics.
Great places to hide and put people.
Yeah, it's going to be very cool.
So
And
that's
it's
the
free
other-
admission.
Free
obviously, like the
admission,
others.
and that's going to be Friday at 6 p.m., Saturday at 3 p.m., and Sunday at 3 p.m. So if anybody has questions, they can call the library and find out. And then on Friday, 7:30, Saturday at 1 p.m., and Sunday at 1 p.m., sing along with Lily Mao. And so, again, she's going to be singing songs about math and counting and the
And she's
alphabet.
awesome.
And she's awesome.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
we
my
always,
friend has a photo shoot with her tomorrow.
Oh,
Really
she's
now?
right.
Blondie,
Yeah,
cutie,
yeah. I went with her the other night. She's great.
Yeah, he was like, come
Delight.
along. I was like, I'm gonna try to do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Fringe,
it's good
we
for
have
the
our
kids.
tentacles everywhere.
That's so funny. I've heard her name. I've never heard her name before. I heard her twice in the
Yeah,
same day.
sis girl.
She must be on the line.
Yes.
For our
She's
viewers
getting out
on
there.
the page
Spreading it
18
around.
of the Fringe Festival
Yeah.
guide, which is also
She's a regular
on our
pierogi
website.
lady.
Totally. Very
This
cool.
is all the kind of fun stuff that we like to do at the library, and this kind of programming really engages the children. This kind of programming really engages. When I see this, it looks like Huggies.
It does.
It does,
Oh.
but that's okay. It really, anything that engages the parents and children, and I think it's important for parents to see that they're having fun, they're engaged, but they're also kind of learning tangentially. And it might give them some confidence and boost something in them that they hadn't thought about doing. So at some point, when you're not around doing the vintage ensemble, you'll
Yes.
have some new groupies to do.
We'll always be around.
Our secret plan is
That's
to
a
have
surprise for
like
the children.
steps of like levels of to hook them in with the children's programming at the library, and then to go to the teen playwright and the teen visual, and then they can write their own play and star in their own play and be in the festival as a full-fledged. We actually have a group that is doing that started last year with Everhart. And wrote his own play and applied separately, and they're doing their own thing. So I think that's
awesome.
like that's the way to catch them. You get them
Yeah.
when they're learning,
That's
and
what
then
the
you're like
library
you're part
is
of the
all
Fringe
about.
family.
And then you audit them, and you get all their secrets, and then you
Not that
blackmail
part.
them
Not
into
that
it for
part.
years,
No.
just taking
No.
their money and their time until
Girl,
they're
I
in
just
too
want
deep.
volunteers. I'm
And then they
not
volunteer.
asking for too much here.
Well,
I'm
that's,
not,
Don't
that's how you
scare
get
them.
them, Liz.
Don't scare
That's
them.
how you get volunteers.
like hypnotizing them into it. Okay,
No.
all right, good to
Cold
know.
take.
Can you guys explain the buttons?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I have buttons.
Are these the actual buttons?
Hold
These
on.
are the buttons.
Oh.
Yes, the buttons are black this year. We're a little
Okay.
bit goth. The buttons, if you buy a Fringe button for $5, then all of that money goes to support the festival, which we need, yay! But every button that you buy will get you a $3 discount on every show on the whole festival, which there's 37 different shows. So without the button, every show is $10. And with the button, every show is $7. And also on our website or on page 6 of the guide, we have 18 different local downtown businesses that are all in Scranton that if you show your button from the time you buy it until the end of the year, till December 31st, they will give you a discount. Like, for example, Adezo's first on the list. So you go to Adezo anytime between now and the new year, they'll give you 10% off of any purchase just by showing the button.
So like honestly, if you don't even go to the Fringe, the
Yeah.
button's worth it.
Yeah,
Because you're just gonna get a discount on. Like you look at the list, you're like, oh okay, that's everywhere that I go.
yeah, it's
Cool,
all the
okay.
places
So
downtown.
next year, the beer guide.
The beer
Yeah, you
people,
get a Fringe
I
button.
mean, we welcome it. There's a couple bars
We can
on
give
here,
them a
like the
10%
Keys and
discount
Whiskey
at the beer
Dicks,
guide.
and like there's bars, there's restaurants, there's places where you can buy clothes. Somebody told me last year that they took their button and they did all their Christmas shopping with the button because they got 10% off at a clothing store, and they were like, "This is great."
You're gonna find some real just like bargain shoppers that have
Yeah.
no interest in
Yeah, and they're just like, I have
the
5
arts.
pins.
Yeah, you don't want to go to the festival? Okay, just buy the button. Then.
Honestly,
But
I
since
would.
you already bought it, you
But
might
you
as
already
well
bought
go.
it. Come to
so-
the free, again, buy the button, come to the free preview party and see little clips of all the shows that'll be performing during the festival, and then pick which one you like,
And then you'll be hooked.
and you're hooked. That's our secret plan.
That's how they get you.
This goes back to what we were talking about earlier with gender stereotypes and things like that. It just happened to work into a
Call me
question I
call me
already
Z.
had. The yeah, to turn serious all of a sudden. It's not that serious.
Uh-oh.
But if you look at the photo we use, for example, of many of the volunteers that are going to be there and stuff like that, overwhelmingly female. All 3 of our guests tonight are female. It seems like a lot of the arts around here are male dominated. Like if you go, like I mean, as much as I loved the awards and seeing all the bands
A
this
lot of
weekend,
dudes.
mostly dudes with some females as well who are all great voices and things like that too. But mostly male dominated. A lot of the arts seem to be male dominated. What do you? I don't know if you have any insight into this, but why do you think that this?
It's obviously the women
has-
behind the scenes that are
Yeah.
making all this stuff happen.
Probably because men are poor planners.
They would really F
we
it
could
all
never
up.
put anything like this together.
Yeah, because you say, yeah, it's all good, it's all good, we don't have to read the directions.
Well, from what I've seen, and I'm not like really not trying to make any generalizations, but I'm going to make some generalizations. And like, the Fringe is, and I'm not saying men don't work well on teams because almost every team that we know is made up of men. So like, if the concept of teams exist, that means it's obviously working out pretty well. But, I think there's just a really unfair stereotype that women can't work together. And you can't have a group of women do something because they can't get along and it's just going to be really ugly. And the Fringe is such a community team activity and it takes an entire village of people and a lot of those people happen to be women and it works super, super well. And there's no ego, there's no competitiveness. It's like everybody...
It's for the greater good.
Yeah, it's for the greater good. And there is like a very nurturing vibe to it. Like a lot of people investing a lot of time. It's like very selfless. Like I'm not talking about myself because I only do what I enjoy and I get a lot of credit for it. I'm talking about the people behind the scenes who go to board meetings every month and like work their butts off, and you guys like sending out miserable emails 24/7 and on Christmas like doing
out
these
nice
things.
emails.
I mean, great emails, but being miserable about it. I'm just kidding. You have a great time. Oh my God, stop talking. No, but it's cool because everyone works super well together, and it's like a very cool. And obviously, you know, there's Connor, and there are many other men involved.
Oh,
but
sure, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, we're
I
not
wanna hear about
ignoring
it.
that just because
Yeah.
he's not here today. Usually he's.
Well, he just said that it's a nice hat.
Thank
Connor.
you.
Hi, Connor.
Thanks, Connor.
The board meeting must have let out.
Yeah.
Scranton Fringe Festival
That's
said
cool.
something.
That's Connor.
How could that be when you guys are all here?
That'd be Connor. Yeah.
He is the Fringe Festival.
Wait a minute. Wait
Hey,
a
hey,
minute.
hey.
I know, I'm teasing.
Fight.
I'm teasing.
No,
You guys just said you guys like don't argue and can get
Yeah,
along.
I mean,
Now you know.
Well, we don't do it
No,
publicly.
I
I don't
don't
know.
minimize Connor.
You are embarrassing me in
I
front of
don't
all these
minimize
people.
him
Just
at
in the
all,
water.
but you know, we all contribute.
No,
Cameras
I'm
cut
teasing.
off. It's like
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
turn
no,
off.
now she's gonna take everything out of the children's library.
No, it's cool. That's all. That's all I'm saying is that everyone works really well together, and it's exciting
Until
and
now.
cool.
Until now, yeah.
And it's very nurturing.
Oops.
Yeah.
Done
The
talking.
the other thing I wanted to mention too is the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Edinburgh.
And what was your
Is it Edinburgh or Edinburgh?
Edinburgh. Well, as they say, Edinburgh.
Yeah, they say it. Yeah, we can't do that.
What was your experience like there, and did you learn anything that you brought back to the Scranton Fringe?
Simone came with us, and it was me and Connor and Simone, and a couple of other friends from New Vintage that helped. Do you want to talk about
It was amazing. It was the most amazing. I was going through my wallet today being like, you're going to have to clean out these bus receipts and euros out of your wallet eventually and like reacclimate your life, but I refused. It was incredible. And it was really cool to see. So we went on like a tour one day, and the lady was like, okay, the population of Edinburgh is 500,000 people year round, and then during festival season, it's 1 million people. Like the population of the city totally doubles, and it runs incredibly smoothly. It's really comfortable. There's no traffic. Like everyone's in a pretty good mood, I think. I mean, you know, considering like it's a bit of a trek, but it's great, and it's just really inspiring for like us going there and seeing it, where we're like, okay, Scranton has the infrastructure for twice as many people as are living there, and we could sustain something like this where like for a month or two, like our population doubles. Like it was just, and there's no reason. Like it's pretty similar. And there was parts of town like I would go, like obviously the main part of town. It's like, oh, look at that's a 1,000-year-old building. That's cool. And then you like
everywhere.
get on a bus and go out, and you're like, okay, this looks a lot like home.
Yeah.
This is very familiar. This is nothing that we couldn't have. Like, so nothing that we couldn't be in 70 years or, you know what I mean? Like, it was really inspirational. It was cool.
To echo what Simone just said, I think that's why I'm obsessed with like saying we need volunteers and sponsors, because there's so much potential for Scranton Fringe because the people in the community are here for it, and that's one of my favorite things about our Fringe. We just need to work on the infrastructure to get bigger, to see what we can do, and we're trying to get a little bit smaller to be more manageable from the back end in terms of venues and tech and costs and things. But the people and the audiences are really, I mean, at least if last year and the year before or anything to go by, people, they want to come. They'll buy their tickets, they'll buy their VIP passes, they'll support the show. We actually, in our guide, we put a whole page that's like reviews. So if you want to write a review of the show you just saw, write it out and like stick it on the window at Alpha Gallery where the Fringe office is so that other people can read it. Because we're talking about how people were writing reviews on social media, but then if you don't, like they'll have it just their friends. So if you don't know that person, and maybe for other Fringes, feedback is huge for the artists. So to get reviews, to get star ratings, and like what did the audience think? That's what we want. Is we want the community to talk to each other and to all like hang out at the same place and chat about the shows and like unpack the themes and stuff. So I feel like that's what when we went to Edinburgh, that's what everybody was already doing. They were already like, "What's your favorite show? When did you go see this? Is this still? Can I go see that?" And we expanded by 1 day this year and got bigger into 5 days. So that's here in Scranton, and I just want to nurture it and say like the community is the most important thing.
Whereas I think a lot of people think like Scranton couldn't do something like that or wouldn't be interested in something like that, whereas I think this festival has proven otherwise, that you
I
see the
hope
crowds
so.
that come out
Yeah.
to these events. I think it's pretty impressive, especially for theater events and things too, which sometimes it can be hard to get people to come out to those, and yet you have so many people, I think, exposed to all the stuff that goes on here, that hopefully that translates into the rest of the year in terms of local theater and things like that.
Yeah, and that's the key. We market ourselves to local theater groups and say, like, this is outside of your regular season. Is there something that one of your members wants to do that's like a little bit weird, or that you, doesn't seem to fit in with your timetable of the other things that you're doing? And you know, we want everybody to challenge themselves for the Fringe. And do you have a crazy idea? Do it. You can do it. We know you can do it. We have faith you can do it. And we'll help promote the whole festival, and that way try to get audience members that aren't your regulars.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we want to wrap up, and I thought one thing that could be fun is I'm going to turn the game around on you two.
Ooh.
We've been playing a game the last couple of times where we'll mess with certain aspects of the whatever topic that we're covering or things like that. This time I'm going to read a couple of the names of these shows and not tell you what they're about. So you're going to have to make up what you think they're about, and
Ooh,
then you
that
can
sounds fun.
and then you can
Fun.
correct us
Okay.
about what
Gosh,
they're
I hope
actually
you
about. So Delirium. What do you think that show could possibly be about?
Life and beer.
Elephants.
Elephants.
That's where my mind went to.
It's actually a true story of the mysterious connection between love and death within an indifferent universe. So
Elephants
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was pretty
bears.
close. I was pretty
That's the
close.
Martin Dockery
I was
one.
all over
It's
it.
funny that
Everybody
you-
see that one.
Yeah, it's funny that you picked that
That was
one
gonna be
because
cool.
I met Martin Dockery and his wife Vanessa in Montreal last year for the Fringe conference, and then I just went in Edinburgh to see his show with his wife.
Okay.
And he's actually doing that show, and he's doing another one called The Dark Fantastic upstairs in Craftsman Hall in the Cultural Center. But he's one of the people that does this for a living. He travels around the world and does fringes, and he was there for the whole month for the first Fringe, and he goes to he has like 5 or 6 different shows that he swaps in and out. So in a new audience, new area with a new audience, he could do any of those shows, and then he can change it up. Like one year do one show, one year do the next show, which I think is so great for self-producing to have that in your pocket.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So I was right on, right?
Yes,
Nailed it.
absolutely.
100%.
Exactly, yeah. Miss Electric City.
Wait, can I ask you one question?
Sure.
Are we just saying like the first word that comes to mind?
Yeah,
or
whatever.
Or
you-
like, are we just like getting deep?
I want to know
about,
what
like,
you
what
think
it's
they're about.
about.
I want to
Miss
know what's
Electric
going on
City.
in
I
it.
think it's about Simone, Josette.
Ah.
Your turn. I killed it.
I think it's about a Draai Laag Koelschip 4.2 ABV sour beer that
It's
I
actually
think he's just trying to get more
R2.
sponsorship credit from Beer Boy.
You should.
and that beer is also sour, but actually pretty good. That's the
Draai
that's,
Laag.
Oh, it's a sour as well.
that's what that's about.
Dry
And that's darker
Island.
than that sour.
All right,
It is.
Okay.
hit us with the next
Did
one.
I win?
Yes, that's exactly what it's about. You
I'm ready.
guessed correctly.
That one's going to be real
It's
funny
Miss
too.
Electric City and
Yeah,
her
that's
sour
going to be
beer.
real funny. It's like a beauty contest with girls participating from different parts of Scranton, and they're like real
Are they
hysterical.
real Scranton girls?
Yeah, they're people from here, like Ruta, and then they've been going to do stuff like karaoke at Port Richards and
Can
stuff.
Miss
Really
Diamond
show.
City- can
It's
Miss
really
Diamond
over the
City
top. It's
show
going to be
up?
hilarious.
Improv.
Crash it.
And be
Crash
like,
it, crash
oh,
it.
hi, so
Yeah.
totally didn't know you guys were here.
Is there a Miss Diamond City?
There should be.
There is now.
Maybe, yeah.
There she
Brittany.
is.
Miss
What's
Fortuna.
up? Just kidding. Not.
Joe Trzynski's funeral.
Well, it sounds like he was a great man.
Are you gonna give his eulogy?
Yes. Do you ever see the SNL skit, Bill
They already did the
Brasky?
eulogy
Yeah,
last
Bill
year.
Brasky.
Hell of a guy.
I feel like he was a man who wore a hat similar to that but smaller. Took a briefcase to work
Mm.
and put a gun in his mouth.
Jesus,
Wow.
Mary and Joseph.
Wow,
But
that's
not
brutal.
before he had his IPA.
Not before
whatever.
he had his Draai Laag from Beer Boys, which is delicious.
On North Washington Street,
Cheers.
just a block from here.
Yes, just a block from here. 72 beers on tap, in case you didn't get that from Johnny earlier.
72 beers on tap.
72
Yes.
beers on tap.
72 beers on tap,
72
and you're
beers on
invited at
tap.
the Children's Library.
Wow.
Wait. We do not serve beer at the Children's Library.
Two
Sorry.
Oh,
separate thoughts. They have nothing to do with
Not
each
yet,
other.
Beer Boys. Not yet. But they will.
Was that close?
Joe Czarnecki's funeral is, he just won a big award in DC Fringe, I think. So
He's
it's
Polish.
He's given 2 different eulogies for 2 different men that both had the same name as him. I think it was his father and maybe his grandfather. I'm not sure. So it's a contemplation of life, the universe, and everything.
I
And
dig
that
it.
might be another
So I wasn't
book.
close at all.
I mean, that sounds like there's a lot of contemplation going on, so you
There's
might not be
probably a
totally
lot of
marked.
beer involved as well. Yeah.
So you bring some beers to that
Where are we
show.
at? Where are we
Yes.
at? I'm feeling this one.
Yum.
Sushi.
Taste- oh.
Loves it. Yum. It's a Japanese story of life. Young girl growing up in a very overpopulated community, and she's having a hard time standing out from the crowd.
No, that's your life story, isn't
Love to
Oh
see
yeah,
that.
brilliant. Johnny,
it? Now,
Wait, does he have to say what he thinks?
yeah.
it
What?
what do you think it's about?
I'm gonna build off that.
Okay.
This girl works as a sushi chef.
But her hands are too warm.
They're too-
Sorry.
What the fuck is wrong?
They say Japanese women's hands too warm to make sushi. I'm so sorry.
Is that you know what? I've never seen a female sushi.
Yeah, they say
Chef.
Japanese women's their hand are
I think that's a lie.
sorry. As you were.
It's like a turn into
I'm gonna Google
It's
that.
really funny. I'm done.
Okay,
You're
what's
done?
next?
Yeah.
Because I'm totally on
Now
it.
that one is actually a return guy, but a different show this
It's
time.
a different show. It's a world premiere in Scranton of a new show from Michael Burgos. And I don't know what it's about because read the description. I think the description says, "What's it about?" I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. It describes as ridiculous and absurd and irreverent. Which, if you've seen
I'll
his
believe it.
his stuff, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Eulogy was great. It was a big hit the last couple of years, so
Yeah.
be interesting to see this. After school special.
Story of my life. Johnny?
Scene opens with a frying pan on the stove. An egg is cracked into it. This is your brain on drugs.
Fun fact, that was an anti-drug commercial.
After school special, don't do drugs.
That
Kind of drugs.
that whole description
Marijuana.
sounded like a beat
That was the
poet
lead.
sort of thing. Like it needed like a drum beat in the
Yeah,
background or
That's
something.
what I was going for.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll.
That was good. I like that. That is a show by Connor McGuigan, who, if you follow local theater at all, you know who that gentleman is. Divorce, pills, runaways,
Chelsea's
bad
laughing
grades,
at us.
smoking, drinking, dating, making friends, and much more. So that should be an interesting one. One family lives through every crisis in one day and comes out learning a lesson. Let's see. The Sound of Heaven.
Just sing it.
There's a harp playing off in the distance.
Chelsea, we need Chelsea Smart to perform the sounds of heaven for us.
With her harp. thing.
Yeah, she has a harp.
Oh,
She's got a harp.
cool.
She's got a harp.
What?
Yeah, Chelsea's awesome. You ever seen her around?
No, but I'm gonna
Oh,
find
her
her
stuff-
now.
her
She's
stuff's
got a
really
good.
harp.
Harp.
That's insane. That's so cool.
Yeah, she'll set up and play a harp in the street or like with other musicians
She
and
should
stuff
be in
like that.
Fringe.
She's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh.
Yeah.
She should
Tell
do
her to
it.
apply.
Yeah, she should do
I'm
Fringe.
surprised you guys don't know her. She's a Scranton girl, right?
No, I think she lives outside the, but she's in Scranton a lot.
Got it.
Oh my god.
Sound
Alright.
of Heaven is John Burt and Brenda Fernandez. They're local musicians.
Okay.
And they have, what is I'm blanking on the plot.
It's a cabaret
Cabaret,
about
yes.
two friends who get into a friendship-ending fight.
It's a good description that I'll remember for next time.
Well, I don't expect you to know these all off the top of your head. I think
I
that's
know
what
the
the guy
names
is for.
of the shows and the person who's running the show off the top of my head, but every other thing is not.
That's good information to have.
Yeah.
Hashtag van life.
Hashtag on the road again. Hashtag just killing it. Hashtag
Weed. Hashtag.
hashtag bass player.
Fit family.
Candy for children. Hashtag.
Hashtag I think I'm just gonna start working on my solo stuff.
Hashtag. Gotta find myself. Hashtag hippie.
What do
was
people
that again?
do when life simply isn't as pretty as their pictures? They hit the open road to take more pretty pictures. And then when things go wrong, everything seems hashtag blessed.
Hashtag rise and grind.
The hugging army.
Ooh, like me. I'm like a hugging army.
You are a hugging army.
I'm just like a tornado of hugs coming
Sometimes
at you.
you're a
like,
kissing army, too.
Sometimes I kiss everybody in the room. It's like really inappropriate. Like so inappropriate. Yeah.
Man,
I'm sure
please.
Joe will love that.
Yeah. Last year, Joe picked me up from the music awards. I said, I think I kissed everybody there. My boyfriends are really understanding that.
The Pink Hulk.
Ooh.
The Hulk, but pink.
Sounds
Well,
like a
They're
woman.
just
It's the female
A
version.
woman
of the Hulk.
scorned.
There's already a She-Hulk. Okay.
Is there?
Yeah.
Wow.
You want to get nerdy? It's his cousin.
Oh.
Oh. Ooh.
But is it is
Uh,
it by like an
through-
accident? Is
Through
how
a
is it
blood
genetic?
transfusion.
Oh.
See, she didn't know that Bruce Banner was a Hulk, and Bruce was hurt,
I'm lost.
and he needed a blood transfusion.
But
So his cousin gave him the blood. Yeah. So
her blood to
That's-
him. But
That must be what
Yeah.
it's about.
Then how did
Yeah.
she become the Hulk?
Am
it's,
I-
it's comic book science.
am I barking up the
so
wrong
it's
tree here?
terrible.
Okay, all right,
A
all right.
little
Yeah.
bit backed up.
A little bit, yeah, a little in the.
All right,
Yeah.
all right,
Just
everybody, moving on.
I just had some questions.
Did
They
they
get
give
really
you the
frustrated.
shots after?
Valerie David,
Yeah.
she just won an award too, and Cincy Fringe or Indie Fringe, I don't remember. She's a woman who's had cancer a couple times, and this is about like how she's hulking it and she's surviving and she's embracing life, and she's doing like talkbacks with local cancer support groups too. So
That's great. So I can see
I'll see that.
She-Hulk.
she's another one
Yeah,
who
I can
tours
see that.
around.
She-Hulk works.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pink Hulk, Pink Hulk.
Pink Hulk. I can see that.
Flyer guy.
Eric Lindros. Story of Eric Lindros. Speaking of flyer. Wayne Gretzky.
A young boy and his red wagon.
That's Radio Flyer,
Oh.
the movie, 1989.
Oh.
More like Times Square. Like,
Oh.
Flyer guy. Oh, yeah, the guy that's handing out, like, for, like,
comedy?
Mamma Mia, Les
You like
Mis.
comedy?
Yeah.
You like to laugh?
Yeah.
Yeah, those poor bastards.
I got mauled last winter
Yeah.
during
yeah.
Christmas time. It was these Pikachus, and like I just did not know that that they were not like officially hired by the city. I guess.
Yeah.
No.
I got mauled, and then they tried to take my credit card information
Oh, I know. They're
for an
they're
iPhone
crazy.
picture I took with my own phone.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was bad. I had to
I
get
never
out.
trusted Pikachu.
I'm just so like they like tried to give me a hug. I was like, okay, yeah, for sure. Like I'll give you a hug. You're in a costume.
Yeah.
This seems legit.
This seems
$15.
totally.
You have a head. You are.
This-
You have authority.
This seems like a real production.
Someone let you be here. You got a permit.
But it's New York, so it's terrible.
Right.
And it's going to immediately attack you or cost you money in some form.
Right.
David Larson's funniest and wildest stories from 4 years of handing out flyers in Times Square. So that should be-
Self-explanatory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that,
We'll be
that
there.
should be a good one.
I feel like there's a crazy Elmo story in there.
Oh, there's got to be. Elmo's the worst.
If you're in Times Square every single day, like you're gonna see like fun like talk show skits that like they come outside and like
Yeah.
you're gonna see all that stuff.
Sure.
I want to know what happened to the Naked Cowboy. Not to get
He's there. He's
total-
around.
Is he still there?
Yeah, he's still
He's
doing
still
it.
around.
I mean,
He's slowing down a little bit.
kids from like Idaho who watched TRL 20 years ago still want to meet the Naked Cowboy.
Yeah.
So he makes a
Right.
living. He's doing better than us. Good Naked Cowboy.
All right, where are we at?
That's we should
wrap it up.
Yeah.
So, but that was fun. It was cool. There are plenty more shows. I just read a couple off the top of my head, but there are plenty more to see. You want to give people that information one last time in terms of dates, times, places, all that good stuff.
Scranton Fringe Festival starts next Wednesday, a week from today, Wednesday 27th of September at the Scranton Cultural Center. There's a free kickoff party where you can see like 5-minute previews of a lot of these shows. And after the kickoff party, there's a free dance party that's
Yes.
hosted by someone named Marie Antoinette that's definitely not sitting next to me right now.
Marie Antoinette, the real queen.
The real queen, yeah.
Marie Antoinette, aka
Dress to impress
Simone
to this dance
Josette.
party.
Marie
Um,
Antoinette.
Put on your satin and silk and lace and like get ready to dance with the guillotines. And then there's so many shows, so many fun shows. We're doing White Rabbit, Red Rabbit. We're doing a comedy showcase at Levels. We're doing music at the Keys. We're doing the Big Gay Story Slam, which is always a hit at the Cultural Center, and then we're having a rap party on Sunday, so everybody can come and like just be exhausted from running around crazy all weekend, seeing so many different crazy shows. Everything is in these paper guides, which are all over downtown Scranton and in Wilkes-Barre. We also have it on our website. We're gonna have them at our preview party, and you can check it out. And in the back, there's little pages where you can write your own schedule because people were telling us like they couldn't keep track of what they wanted to see, And there's also a review section. So if you see a show and you love it and you want to give it 5 stars, rip this page right out of your guide and stick it on the wall in a gallery in the window. Not next to the art, in the window, so that people can see.
But if you don't want to give it 5 stars, just crumble it up and
On the
throw it away.
windows, to the wall.
Yeah, we want it to be everybody, the community, like I was saying before, to see what other people enjoy and get recommendations. So that's my spiel. It's next week, 27th to October 1st. Join us in 13 venues downtown. And our social media is on Facebook. It's Scranton Fringe Festival, and everything else, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, which we don't use that much, is Scranton Fringe.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us talk about the festival. You can still leave comments after the show. We'll respond to them later. We did have a few people who hopped on, so thank you for commenting. April Holgate
Miss Electric City.
is Miss Electric City, and we had our winner from last night, actually, Angelia Petrillo. Who won the first week of NEPA Scene Rising Talent, said she will be our pierogi lady. So now we have a pierogi lady.
She's
Can't
great.
wait.
She's already part of the Fringe family, and I love that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.